Shalom from Karen Biavna. We know that in halacha we have all sorts of fast days, but not all fast days are created equal. On one hand we have Yom Kippur, that's so midaraisa. Under that Tisha B'Av. Then the other fast days associated with the Churban. And lowest on the totem pole, in a sense, we have Tanis Esther. In light of it being a lighter fast than the other ones, it's not associated with the Churban, it's not midaraisa. It's sometimes difficult for us to relate to and appreciate the importance of Tanis Esther. Beyond that, in a sense, Tanis Esther is like a rerun. We know what happens in the end, so it's hard to get all that excited over the fast, when we know that all's well that ends well. Nevertheless, I think that this fast is an important one, and I'd like to discuss two significant aspects of this fast. Number one, we remember that on Leil Pesach, halacha says, Maschel begnus Mesayim b'shevach. Only if we remember the gnus, the avodim hayinu, or the mitchila of the avodah zara hayu avosenu, could we appreciate the salvation. Only if we eat maror do we understand how much we need to be thankful for us being b'nei chorin. Similarly, unless we remember that Sarah, the Jewish people, was in at the time of the Gzeira of Haman, only if we remember that we'll be able to appreciate the Nes of Purim. But in addition, there's another more important aspect, which in effect is something which the Mishnah Berurah points out, the Mishnah Berurah quotes. I'd like to develop that a little bit. When we remember the tzara that the Jewish people were in at the time of Mordechai ve'Esther, we also remember that the way they were able to get out of that tzara was through fasting, through tshuva. In the slichos that we say on Tanis Esther, we point out that the Jewish people learned from Nineveh that even after the Gzeira is made, still we have the ability, the Jewish people has the ability to do tshuva. The implication is that gzer was a real gzer of destroying the Jewish people, chas v'shalom, if not for the tshuva. We know that the Jewish people then fasted on Pesach. They were not mekayim the mitzvah of matzah, that's the implication. And how were they allowed to do that? Well, they felt that they need to take drastic measures. It was pikuach nefesh, and one of the drastic measures that they took was declaring the fast for 3 days. So there was a tshuva process which brought about the Yeshua. When we fast on Tanis Esther, we understand that what turned things around is the tshuva. Now, why is this such an important lesson? Well, let's ask ourselves, the Jewish people nowadays, is our situation, our state, more similar to before the V'nafalchu or after the V'nafalchu? The state of Mordechai ve'Esther and the Jewish people before the Yeshua or after? So in a certain sense, although we're celebrating the Yeshua, but the current state of the Jewish people now, in a certain sense, we're before the Yeshua. The Gemara speaks of that which we don't say Hallel on Purim, and one of the explanations given is that in Hallel we state Halu Abdei Hashem. So, but we, says the Gemara, Akati Avdei Achashverosh Anan. So we are still Avdei, not Achashverosh, but Avadim of all sorts of enemies, enemies from without, enemies from within. We have enemies in the form of all sorts of progressive leftist forces that are bring about harm to the Jewish people in many different ways. We have all sorts of issues that we need to, security issues we need to deal with. We have spiritual issues. Every individual has their sorts of issues which they need a Yeshua for. The Jewish people, in a certain sense, is in the pre-Yeshua state. And being that's the case, we need to remember that it's through our tshuva that we'll be able to improve the situation. To end on a positive note, I would mention the following. I was listening a bit back to a talk of Rav Shai Shechter that he gave before last Purim, and he said that we're meant to believe that just as HaKadosh Baruch Hu turned things around then, he could also turn things around now. And he mentioned, do we really believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could break the access of evil of Iran and all its proxies? Well, now, before this Purim, we certainly do believe that. We've seen the beginning of the crumbling of Iran and its extended forces, and we truly believe that that can come about. Our joy on Purim is not only joy of the past, but it's also joy for the future. We understand that just as HaKadosh Baruch Hu provided a genuine Yeshua for the Jewish people at the time of Purim, he certainly can, and hopefully will, do so for us as well. If in fact we try to do our share, then in fact, La Yehudim Haisa Orav Simcha V'Sasan Vikar, Kain Tia Lanu, with the full redemption, B'Meher B'Yameinu, Bezrat Hashem, Amen. Have a wonderful Purim.